Hey everybody, welcome to another video review. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit distant. I didn't want to bother with putting the long mic all the way to the camera. So you can bear with me, but hopefully you can hear me okay. So tonight I'd just like to talk about another one of the experiences from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. This is a droid, and so one of the things you can do is you can build a droid. The experience is pretty fun, and it's not quite as difficult to get into as the Savi's workshop for Build a Lightsaber, for instance, because the process is a bit more streamlined. There's no show surrounding it. Essentially, you get in line, you pay, and you go to a conveyor belt. You choose the parts of the droid that you want to build, whether you want to build an R2 unit or a BB unit. And then once you get the parts, you take it to a station where you assemble it with some help from a cast member, and then they basically pair it, and then you take the droid home. So I did the experience twice, once for a R2 unit and once for a BB unit. I thought that the black R2 unit actually looked pretty snazzy, but as with all things in Disneyland, and especially Galaxy's Edge opening weekend, by the time we lined up, I had the 11 to 3 slot, and by the time I did this around noon to 1, they already ran out of the black parts. So in the end, I got the red one. This was mainly for my 4.5-year-old. She kind of liked the color. And so this is just basically a review, sort of just to go over the functionality and talk about it. So the quality is pretty solid. For this droid, it comes in the following parts. You have the head, the body, 2 legs that come in one package, and then the center leg. So I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, okay, that you're gonna put together. And the assembly is, trivial. There's a screw that you put in. They have a little screwdriver that you can use to put it together. You attach the legs. The one thing to note is that the wires here is the front, so you don't want to put the legs on backwards, which is what we did. We had to take it apart and then redo it. And if you do it right, it should fit very snugly together. And you can also angle the legs so that he should be like this to give you the maximum movement. So all of that's really good. The components are mainly plastic. There are some, I'm sure, metal parts on the inside, but the outside is just plastic, not die cast or anything like that. It has some weight to it. I would guess maybe about 5 pounds. Not too bad. And it has a lot of cool functionality. And there's a few extra little things that we'll go over. But the highlights, the power switch is on the bottom. You switch it on and off down here, and then there's a button that you can use to remotely pair it again in case it loses connection with the remote. And the instructions, by the way, for this are on the undersurface of the cardboard sort of container or box they give you. So even if you buy like a backpack to put the droid in, don't throw away that box, or if you must, just tear the instructions from the bottom out and keep it, or take a picture of it, because you're going to need it. It tells you where to change the batteries, how to pair it. It's kind of important. And the instructions are not easily found online. So you turn the droid on, and then you turn the remote on, and then you can do a whole bunch of things with it. This button causes it to basically beep. And it gives you different sounds every time you press it. That, by the way, will change depending on whether you have a personality chip in there or not. And that's sold separately for about $13. If you buy the personality chip, there's 3 different types of personality chips. There's the First Order, the Resistance, and then I think the Bounty Hunter or Smuggler. And so it's like it corresponds to good, evil, and neutral or selfish. And in this unit, you put it, you take this open here, so hopefully you can see it. And this is where the chip goes in, and you put it in. And that kind of affects how the droid talks and how the droid reacts as you go through. This is a Bluetooth-enabled device. And so as you're carrying the droid throughout Galaxy's Edge, depending on what part of Galaxy's Edge you're in, they'll send different signals to the Bluetooth, and then the droid will actually react and shake and make these different sounds. And the personality chip will affect that, I believe. Which is why they do sell these backpacks. We can put them in, and you can leave the top of the backpack open. There's a window you can open, and it's kind of cool. You can see the droid sort of rotate the head and make sounds and things like that. So it's kind of a neat little experience to have. And those backpacks do sell out. When I went to the 8 to midnight showing, by the time we got there, all the backpacks were already gone, and they restock it every day, but they go pretty fast. And they're basically being bought as quickly as the cast members are putting it on the shelf. So it would behoove you to grab the backpack as soon as you enter and just basically carry it with you all the way to building the droid if you want to make sure they don't run out. So I think that a personality chip is pretty important. We bought one of each, and then the backpack is nice as well. So here it goes. And then this button moves the head. It doesn't move forever. So it does come to a stop and they have to move the other direction, like this. And then of course, you can move it forward and you can twist it. Goes real close and then we'll go backwards and you can twist it around like that. So pretty cool. You can definitely move the head, move them back and forward, rotate them, and make them talk. There's also a button here, the top button, which in some droids has some functionality, but in this one I think is usually made to pair. So overall, it's a pretty fun little thing, and certainly the kids really like it. Now that you have an idea, they come in so many different parts. I mean, there's like the tall heads, there's yellow, there's orange, there's different color legs. So you have a lot of sort of choices, and it's really cute. And if you have the chip in place and you do nothing, you just wait a couple minutes, and we'll see if it does that. It will occasionally, move a little bit, occasionally make some sounds, that type of thing. I also like this droid because the controls are pretty easy to access. You don't have to take apart the droid, for instance, like they do with the BB-8 unit. They also have little things, like this thing here is part of the droid building experience. You can snap it in place, you can open it up, and it can show you, the inside. This guy, of course, I already showed you, opens up like this. And over here on the side, you snap these in place onto the side of the legs. So there's these little tiny accessories that you're also going to be using to build it together. So I stand corrected. The four main parts are the head, the body, the legs, and the center leg. But then you also have the side part, the side panels, the front panels, and that type of thing. And so there's a lot of different options. So I guess at the end of the day, if you want to talk about whether it's worth it, it'll cost you $99 and there's no annual pass discount. So probably at the end of the day with tax, it'll get you about $108. So is it worth, and if you add, of course, the $12 for the personality chip and a backpack, which is $40, and you're kind of pushing about $160, tax included. So is it worth it? It just kind of depends on your viewpoint. The technology here is Bluetooth, and it's not unique. I think Target was selling versions of this toy in the past, and you can get it for $50, $60. So you can say that this is overpriced, but it just depends on the experience you want, because this is proprietary to Galaxy's Edge. You can only get it there, and then remember you're building it, which means that normally you can only buy the R2-D2 unit, which is blue. Here, you can really customize it. You can choose any color you want, any combination of parts you want. There's also the act of physically building it, which you can't get anywhere else. And then you can get the personality chip as well. And its functionality is really nice. And so I think that's what you're paying for. And if you're gonna go to Galaxy's Edge and get a souvenir, and I think when the gates open on the 24th and all these people stream in, the best collectible souvenir you're gonna get is a droid or a lightsaber or both. So I think there'll be a lot of demand for guys like this. And again, certain parts like the black version is gonna be really popular. But it's really cool because everybody has their own favorite parts. Some people like red, some people like purple, some people have a clear dome that looks really cool. Like one of the things that people were really interested in was like a clear dome, you can see the insides. So there's something for everyone. And so based on that, I think that's an experience that's really hard to put a value to. I know that my daughters really enjoy building it with me, and they take it home, it's like their own little toy, and it's talking, it's almost like a virtual pet. And then on the drive home, while we're driving, each one of the droids was like, saying brr, 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 da, 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 da. And my 4.5-year-old was like, oh, daddy, the droid's talking, and what's going on with the droid? So it gives it kind of that little illusion of personality, which I'm not sure if some of the older Target models ever had quite that, extra functionality. And so, overall, I think it's a great, souvenir. And if you can afford it, go ahead and do it. I think you won't regret that. And the important thing, by the way, is when you first build it, it comes with the legs like this. And so you kind of have to, you know, adjust it to make sure that it's angled properly, or else it won't work. Like, you know, it won't move. So I think that's something that's an important thing to remember. And finally, you shouldn't build a droid in the first hour or the fourth hour where there's overlap. It's okay, my wife is interrupting me, but I'll just continue with the review. So you shouldn't build these droids in the first or fourth hour because it overlaps. You should build it in the middle 2 hours because that's where the volume of people during the reservation is the lowest. And you'll probably get it done very quickly. I think when I had to do it in the overlap hours, it took an hour to get it done. But when you do it in the non-overlap, the wait is as little as 15 minutes. So it's very, very quick. And so that's just a little tip for you there. So hopefully you can, you know, enjoy it, and I'll see you for the next review. Okay? Until next time, take care. Do you like it?
Yes.
Yes. This is your droid, right, Holly?
Well, Daddy, no time